Welcome back. I have some more updates on the 2024 Chess.com Daily Chess Championship. For those of you that don't know, this is was a huge tournament with over 63,000 people participating in it. But that was the first round. A bunch of people timed out, and then, people won and lost, and now we're in the second round, and there are fewer than 2,700 people left in the tournament, divided into groups of 12. This is my group of 12 for the second round. As you can see, I'm currently ranked about in the middle of the pack. I only have 5 games left, so even if I win all of them, the best I can do is 13 wins. And the leader of this group currently has 19 wins with 1 game ongoing. So there's no chance in me winning out in this group unless, a whole bunch of people get banned for cheating or something, which is highly unusual and unlikely. But I have 4 more losses since the last time I made one of these update videos. I'm going to go through them. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I'm not a titled player or chess coach like you see with a lot of chess YouTubers. I'm just a random person trying to get better at chess. And I document that by clicking record and making these videos and talk through my thought processes. The hope is that it will help anybody that's lower rated than me. And there's a kind of a smaller, less likely hope that those of you that are better than me will see something that I miss and let me know in the comments. Fortunately, a bunch of you have done that. That has helped a lot. But I have one question for all of you before I get started analyzing these 4 losses that I have. Let me know if you think there's a better way to do this within the time allotment that I have, which is usually between a half hour and an hour each day. What I've been doing is just going through using the game review and finding out where I made a mistake, going to the move before that, trying to figure out what I should have played instead of what I did play, and then being mystified when I turn on the lines and see what Stockfish recommends. So if you can think of a better way, please let me know. Let's get started. All right, in this game where I had the black pieces against a player rated 1490, I'm very surprised. The graph said I had a pretty big advantage here right before the midway point, but then I gave it away a couple of moves later. But it looks like I maintained an advantage all throughout the opening, and even as we got close to the middle game, where it was more close to close to the end game, but then I messed up and gave it away. So I want to look at this point right here, see what advantage my opponent gave me and how I missed it. And then I want to look right here and see how I gave away the evenness of the game. Okay, well, I just recorded a segment in which I got the 2 columns mixed up and thought that those inaccuracies were mine and these mistakes were my opponent's, but I was playing with the black pieces, so it looks like I had a couple of mistakes in the first 15 moves, but my opponent had a ton of inaccuracies. But according to that graph, the point at which my opponent gave me a huge advantage was move 18, so I had just made a mistake, but still had a very slight edge depending on what my opponent should play, and I do have the lines turned off. Let's see, can I turn off the feedback gets rid of that line too. Now, I don't know what my opponent should have played here, but what they did play was knight to h6 check, and that was a blunder. I'm not sure why it's a blunder, because I can't take, because that pawn is pinned by the queen, right? So, okay, I had no idea that was a blunder. I thought I was about to get checkmated. And what I did play was king to h8, and that's not counted as a mistake, inaccuracy, or anything. I thought the idea was that it would allow me to take the knight. Also, now that I think about it, I think that's my only legal move, king to h8, and I think that was forced. Okay, well, that settles that. So now I'm able to take the knight, but my opponent's going to move it, and it does say that they moved it to f5, and I am now up 2.8 because them putting their knight there and making me move the king was a blunder. Okay, so then when they put the knight back here, looks like they're lining up for checkmate, but not quite, because my queen's guarding that square. So what should I have played here? Should I have moved the rook over? Should I have moved the pawn up? I didn't think I should move the pawn up because then the knight can go back. Not that it would want to, but what I did play was queen to f6. Now, I'm not sure why I played that. The queen's fine where it is, isn't it? It's guarding this square. They take with the knight. I'm just going to take it, and I'll gain a piece for a pawn. I honestly can't think of anything other than g6. I have no idea. I'm going to look at the lines. Oh, it was g6. Okay, I let it run for just a second, and it continued to say g6. It's minus 2.9 if I play g6. And it says what they're going to do is drop their knight back, but would it, I don't know, would it be in their best interest to put it over here? I guess then I could bring my queen in and threaten it. Okay, so g6. If I had played g6, their best move is to go back, but they can also go over here, and it is definitely not suggested for them to go to h6. I don't know why, but it says they could also just play rook a to e1, and that wouldn't be a ton worse than moving the knight. It says if they did that, I would not take the knight. I would put the bishop on c8, pinning the knight to the queen. Okay, now that makes sense. But if they play their best move, then I'm going to take this pawn, okay, with check. And that's why they should have put a rook over here on e1. All right, so I did guess g6. Well, that worked out better than a lot of these do. I'm going to turn off the lines. I'm going to go back to the review place and go over here to where, but we are even, and my next move was a blunder. Oh, and I followed that with a further mistake, it looks like. Okay, so this blunder was a5. Wait, a's over here. I played a5. Probably because I didn't know what to do. But we're drawn if I do not play that and I play something else. Should I have just taken the pawn? That's probably what I should have done. Because here it looks like what they can do is take this pawn with check. I have to move my king up, and then they can fork my rook and bishop, and when I save the rook, they're going to get the bishop. Wait, so taking that pawn wouldn't help with that. So should I have played g5 then? No, they still could have gone there. It's not the pawn that I need, it's the square, but is there a way to defend that square? No. Okay, so I should take I'm going to say bishop capturing a2. Nope. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. It is fine. Oh, I had a bunch of moves that kept us drawn. G5 would have been fine, but they definitely would have checked. I would have gone up to H7 because I think that would be my only legal move. And then they would check, but it says they would go back down here to check. I thought they would go over here to fork my pieces. Would that have been bad? If I had played G5 and they hopped in here and I went up, it's the only move. Oh, that says that would have been bad. Why would it have been bad for them? It says it would be bad for them because I could just play bishop to c4, but I wouldn't probably. I would probably do something. Oh no, I would come over here to guard the bishop. Well, that's not one of my best moves at all. All my best moves are pawn or bishop moves. Well, why is this bad? Oh, because of rook to d1. Okay, got it. But if I played here, I'd be fine. And their best move would be to take my rook, and then I would take their rook. And it says, oh, for a second, it said that taking here was their best move. And then I would save my bishop. But now it's definitely saying to take my bishop's the best move, and then I would, I assume, take their knight. And I'm ahead slightly, very slightly. Is it big? I have one extra pawn, but it's doubled, so I don't know what difference it makes. And their best move is to go over, not forward. I had no idea we were drawn here, and that's part of the problem. And this player was rated nearly 1,500. I've only once, I think, been rated above 1,400. And, I thought I was lost. They've got me where I can't move, and, so my choices are something like this, moving a pawn, sacrificing the rook for the knight, but then I would have to come up here, and I don't know. I think here I probably just would have taken that pawn if I had thought about it, because this does nothing. Okay, right after I said this does nothing, I looked at the list of moves, and a5 is just as good as the others. Oh man, for the last few weeks, it feels like Stockfish has been throwing me some curveballs, but some of it I know is related to the fact that the game review, which decided a5 was a blunder, runs at a lower depth. At least I thought it ran at a lower depth than what's going here, but this says it's a depth of 22 is what's running in these lines, but I thought I had my game review set to run at a depth of 22 also. Okay, apparently you cannot set the game review to run at a particular depth, so I was mistaken about that. So maybe the game review, even though it's supposed to be gauging this at a 3,400 rating, which is pretty high, but it does it really fast. So I guess it doesn't have time to, to calculate everything. And the game review thought that was a blunder, but that turns out to be even, except after I made the move. Now it says plus 54, 0.54, obviously, but backing up? Okay, now a5's not listed here. Okay, what if I back up and then come forward? Is it going to list a5 again? This is really throwing me that you saw it, right? Just a second ago, it said a5 was one of my moves that kept us even, but it's not now. And when I play it, it says it's 0.59, but they only have one move that gives them that edge, and that's here. That only leaves me one legal move. And yeah, if I had been them, I definitely would have played here. But now that does say that that's their best move. That's what they played. And I said I said earlier, that's probably what I would do. But that turns out to be the mistake that lost me the game. Not that blunder of a5, which barely changed the balance a little bit. But right here, I could have played bishop to c4, and we would have gone through that thing that I mentioned earlier, except earlier I had played g5 instead of pushing the a pawn. Yeah, but that's what I had to play, was bishop to c4. But yeah, sorry we took a little detour there with a5 because for a second the engine said that a5 was one of the moves that kept us even, but the game review thought it was a blunder, so that was really confusing. But here it says a6 would have kept us even. But I bet if I play a6 it won't say even on the next turn. No, it says 0.31. Backing up? Now it does not list a6. Regardless of that, that one did not set me off that far, but it was here when I played rook to d8 and I had to play bishop to c4. I think I understand that one. Let me take a look at the next game. The next game that I have to look at was against that same opponent, And this one looked like it got pretty wild. Here, this time I had the white pieces. It looked like my opponent got a pretty good advantage, but then gave it back to me. And then I had a big advantage here. Is it going to tell me how big the advantage was? Usually when you hover over it, it tells me, okay, all right. Well, for a second, I thought it said plus 4.3, but I couldn't get the number to show up again. So something, I have to go down here. Nope, that's minus. Whoop, there it is, plus 4.3, but it'll only show up if the mouse pointer's in front of it. Okay. Yeah, something's a little off with this graph today. Well, it's not just today, but never mind. That's not the point of this video, but I blew that huge advantage. Okay, it looks like after 21 moves, we were relatively even. And then my opponent played rook to b8, which shoots this advantage up, even though that's not counted as a mistake. Really. Look, all the inaccuracies and misses and everything are listed over here. But rook b8 takes us to +2. Wow, I will just say it makes it so difficult for me. Maybe not for you, but for me, it makes it really difficult to learn something from these games when the site itself keeps messing up. Here, clearly the site is messing up. Rook b8 is obviously a blunder if it goes from 0 to +2.5. But because it's not marked as that, I didn't know, if that was the right spot in the list to go to. So it's just so... And if I can't trust it to mark those right, it makes me wonder if I can trust the lines. It makes me wonder if I can trust the eval bar. But apparently the engine thinks I had something here, and I don't know what it is. I took this pawn because I thought that was a good idea, but apparently it's not a good idea. Apparently I should have done something else, and I have no idea what that was. I'm looking all over, so I'm going to turn on the lines. I should have taken the pawn with the knight. Okay, I understand this one. I'm pretty sure, because right now my knight's defended by 2 pieces, but when I take this pawn with my queen, the knight's not defended anymore, and it's under attack by 2 pieces. Now it's only being defended by the bishop. So they don't have to take back my queen. That's what I thought would happen. When I did this, I thought, oh, they'll take me and I'll take back with the knight. But they don't have to take back because their queen is well protected here. They'll take this. And it does say that taking the knight with the bishop was a great move. Okay, so I do understand if I take here, then I'm attacking the bishop, and their bishop's pointed at nothing. Well, not over there. It's not pointed at b2. It's pointed, on the diagonal. I understand that. Okay. And so that was it right there. And I lost the game. According to the graph, I was really far behind the rest of the game. 1.3 is far enough behind at this level because I went down a piece right there. I took their queen, they took back, and that was a mistake too. Oh, that was a mistake too. But I'm down a piece, and now I'm -4. So looks like we both messed up, the whole process there. But basically, that knight was free for them. So I understand that. And this game, I lost to someone rated a little bit lower than me, which sometimes happens. It's, not a big surprise. I'm rated, 30 points higher than that, so 40 points. So it's not a surprise that I, would lose to somebody who's rated that close to me. What I think is a surprise is that we went the whole game with me never having an advantage. That says +1 right there, but I'm guessing if we went to the analysis board, it wouldn't say +1. Because it always does that. It always says, oh, it's actually 0.5. But anyway, we were very, very even until I messed up twice in a row here. So let's go to the point right here where I messed up. Sorry, I clicked on that, did I not? Oh, okay. Okay, so right here, my opponent has a very slight advantage, as they've had for a little while. But here I messed up huge, and they didn't see it, and then I messed up again on the next turn. Blunder, they missed it, and I blundered again, and they were both knight moves. Played knight to f1. Why did I do that? I think I was trying to come around here to hit that pawn. I think that's why I did that. But I should have played something else. Yep, I have no idea what I should have played. I'm going to turn on the lines. Rook to d1, and it says they just would have moved over. And then I would have played rook to d4. Am I aiming at that pawn? It says no. No point in that line am I going to take that pawn. Okay, so I don't understand that, but I also could have played rook to e1. Oh, it's because when they move their knight. Okay, I think that happened here in a little bit. Yep, that's what it was. I think that's what it was, because here on move 24, it does look like they were able to take my rook. So I get that all of the, king to h1's not a rook move. Oh, okay. The problem is that they can check me and win my rook. So king to h1 solves that problem. If they can put their knight here if they want to, but my rook is fine. But the problem after I played this is that they didn't check me. I think they did see this discovered attack, but they had to check me on f3. But instead, for reasons unknown, they played knight to d3, which isn't a check, but it is an attack on my rook. The problem now is, of course, I can move my rook, and I didn't see it. I thought they were aiming in here. So I did the thing that I was talking about before anyway, which is I put my knight there aiming at that pawn, and of course now they can take my rook. And they did. Yep, I remember being really surprised when they took my rook, but this is an elementary blunder on my part. Not necessarily moving the knight to f1. Yeah, moving the knight to f1 isn't an elementary blunder. That's an intermediate level blunder to me because it does require my opponent to spot a tactic, to aim at the rook. But here, after I did that, and after they failed to check me and aimed at my rook, that's an elementary level blunder. Here is where I could have just moved it. It says to d1 would have been fine, b1 would have been fine. For some reason, e1's a lot, oh, e1, they would take it with the knight, okay. So I needed to move it to one of those two squares, and I should have seen that it was under attack. Yeah, this right here is an elementary blunder. I just went about my plan, not seeing the danger, I should have asked myself, why did they put the knight here? They put the knight there to get out of the way of the queen. I understand. And the last game that I'm going to look at in this video, which has already gone over my time, so I'm going to try to be careful with this. It looks like I had mild advantages all throughout the opening and through a lot of the middle game. But then we were drawn for a bit, and then I gave it away. Looks like over the course of several moves here. You know what? Let's just go to the last point at which I had a chance. We were even here, according to this graph. Okay, this was the last point at which I had a chance, apparently. It says my opponent had a very slight advantage here, but they had just missed something big. I don't know what it was. Maybe they should have taken there with their queen. I don't know. Or maybe they shouldn't have taken there at all. Maybe they should have checked me. I don't know. But here I had something, and according to the move list, what I played was queen to f3. Well, my queen's in danger. Oh, no, it's not, because the pawn's kind of pinned, right? Should I have played queen to f2, which would have defended that pawn? I don't know. I see queen to f2, which helps defend my h-pawn. Probably not a good idea to go take on a7. Oh, right here? Should I? Okay, it was queen to e6 check, which, you know, I think it pretty much forces the queen trade, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to guess queen to e6 check. That was my only move. Got it. It took me a second. I kept thinking defense, but it was offense. That's something I'm working on. I'm going to get better at it. There are definitely times where I think I should be defending, and I need to remind myself there might be offense here. And sometimes a good offense is the best defense. And that's the case here. I need to go down and check, which kind of forces the queen trade. Then they're going to have to bring their rook over here to get behind that pawn. I don't know exactly how that would happen, but I do get this, because if they just move out of check or block with the rook, I'm going to take their queen, right? Yes. Everything except, all the lines except where they take my queen, I'm going to take their queen. Okay, so they would probably take me and I would take here. They would have two moves that are okay. One would be to come this way and one would be to get in front of the pawn. Wait, if they came this way, oh, now it's saying it's something different for me. Yeah, before in the line when it said that they went to f6 that I would go to d1, but now it says I wouldn't. But if they did go to f6, oh, I have a bunch of moves that keep us close, but my opponent still has a very slight advantage. And I'm guessing it's because they have an extra pawn. Okay, I understood that one too. And if I'm not mistaken, that was all 4 losses that I've suffered over the past few days. And back here on the 2024 Chess.com Daily Chess Championship page, you can see I have 5 games left ongoing. Thank you for sticking with me. Hopefully you got something out of this. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time that I understood every one of the blunders. So that makes me feel good. Not that some of the blunders were obvious, you know, pretty low-level blunders, but it makes me feel good that I understand them. So, well, you know, we'll keep pressing onward. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.